6 trillion years ago. And that's a long time ago. He exhibited rebellion and frustration and disappointment because he was unable to get everyone to speak the same dialect. So in his frustration, he decides to try and kill everybody on the planet and sticks dynamite deep into the earth and explodes the earth and sends the earth shooting down and the moon shooting up. And that also is proven today that wasn't any fairy tale teaching. I have to remind you that moon, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told them what they would find when they landed on the moon, and told them that the moon was once a part of Earth. And the moon is up there as a result of an explosion. And the first thing that the astronauts found on the moon was gun smoke. They found it all in the rocks that they brought back to the earth. This is your man, Elijah. Little 3rd, 4th grade Elijah telling white folks what they would find on the moon before they even went there. Huh? Now, let's go back 4,000 years now. The date of the Bible which you read, the book of Genesis, that is the genealogy of white folks, not your genealogy. It is mixed in between, where you have Adam. There it's talking about the black man and the white man. But it is mainly, the emphasis is on the making of the white race. That's why it says, let us make man. Why let us? If God in the beginning was alone and created himself out of triple darkness, why didn't he speak with the personal, I make a man. I fashion a man out of mud into shape. But the book says, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. That means it was more than one. Us signifies many. So let us make man is Yaakov, who gathered 59,999 to make a man in the image and the likeness of black people, but would not be of the original people. He would not be righteous by nature. He would not be strong physically and mentally. He would be weaker, but he's in the image and the likeness of a man. Count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. See, the beast looks like a man, but he's a man. He's a beast. You know that he's a beast because even though he's been civilized to some extent, if you ever around white folks, and believe me, all this teaching is not to make mockery, but go to the restaurants. He likes his meat raw, doesn't he? You and I can't stand that. The people in Europe and, the famous French cuisine, they have a dish called, tartare, right? And that's ground beef, raw, mixed up with a little eggs, I don't know, some other, it's raw. And they always want it, rare. Give it to me rare. English style. Rare. This is to show you that they are still on the level of the beast. And that's why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad again in our lessons teaches us. Why doesn't he want you in his social affairs? Because you will learn and see that he's wicked and nasty in all of his affairs, and that is not where you as the righteous people want to integrate yourself with that which is the lower of self. How can we be so foolish today? Moses was sent by God, and because of the divine intervention of God, white folks were given a chance to take what they had learned. They had to accomplish what they have accomplished in the span of 6,000 years, which ended in 1914. They were to take the wisdom and the knowledge, and they were to trick and deceive us. But Moses is revered by them. Now, let's bring it all the way up to today. We have been lost. We were taken in a vindictive way and by revenge of white folks who knew the history. We were also taken from the original land. Everything was taken from us in the beginning except the language. They gave us little to put to hide our shame. We were shackled and put in the holds of ships and taken on a westerly course from Africa to America as they were ran or driven away from the Holy Land in their beginning, in their exile. They come back now in 1555 to repay us for what we did to them. We made them walk 2,200 miles and made them to go savage for 2,000 years. Look at it. Now he brings us over to America. He took everything from us except the language, but he robbed us of that too. And he didn't take us 2,200 miles. He took us 9,000 miles, where our own people did not even know that we were here. He tricked us on the boat, making an interpretation that we would receive gold for our labor here in America more than we were earning in our own country. Huh? Isn't that what we're taught? The trader made an interpretation. Then did they receive gold? No. The trader disappeared, and there was no one left to speak their own language. Why didn't their own people come and get them? Because their own people did not know that they were here. They couldn't swim 9,000 miles. Our forefathers wanted to return, but they could not swim 9,000 miles. Our people didn't come get us because they didn't know that we were here. When did they find out that we were here? Approximately 60 years ago, from the date between 1930 and 1933, which would give us 1873. So for over 300 years, our own people did not even know that you and I were here. That's deep. And white folks allowed us to go savage, taking a dog on the plantation as our friend, more than our own brother. He fed us swine. and we begin to even start speaking and screaming and barking like dogs, like swines, and like monkeys, because we have lost the knowledge of self and we're beginning to live the life of our slave master, which is the beast. Huh? You eat swine because the slave master fed you swine. You say your dog is your best friend because white folks have said their dog is a best friend. You like monkeys, apes, and gorillas because your slave master said. My monkey's uncle? Huh? Now, let's look at this. I'm going to wrap this up. 1873 is when our people found out that we were here. Back to the supreme wisdom. It's called the Problem Book. In this problem book contains the exodus of black folks, if they can properly be understood and broken down, not just mathematically, but in the past, present, and future tense. In this problem book, number 31, verse number 32, it says 12 leaders of Islam from all over the planet have conferred in the root of civilization concerning the lost found nation of Islam. They said they must return to their original land. One of the members by the name of Mr. Osman Sharif said to the 11 members of the conference, the lost found nation of Islam will not return to their original land unless they first have a thorough knowledge of their own. That means that our people on the other side of this globe, on the other side of the Atlantic, would not even accept us in the condition that white folks have put us in. Because we had turned savage, losing the knowledge of ourselves, stripped of the knowledge of God, the knowledge of our religion, without the language. And we had accepted a religion that goes totally against the very principles of the universe, the very laws of the universe. And we accepted Christianity, the religion of our slave masters. So the condition upon which the lost found nation would return to their own kind was that they first must have a knowledge of themselves and they must clean themselves up. Listen, listen, listen. So they sent a messenger to them to teach them of their own. The scientists, if we put the time of around 1873, and Mr. Osman Sharif obviously is one of the 12 major scientists. There's a circle of 24, you read about them also in the book of Revelation, the 24 elders that sat at the throne of God. Mr. Osman Sharif represents one who is in control, represents the one that will now take the discovery, and he will then, now I'm just saying this hasn't been not concluded in this, but Osman Sharif now recognizes and says, so they will send them a messenger. Master Farad Muhammad was born in 1877. His father being the god of that circle of 24. He goes to the Caucasus region to get a woman that would bear a child that would judge both worlds, black and white. Master Farad Muhammad having an original father and a Caucasian mother. But the purpose of this was that son would judge between white and black, meaning that he had to correct white supremacy, black inferiority. He came to North America by himself. He had been coming in and out of America for years before he finally made himself known July 4th, 1930. So he comes as Prophet W.D. Farad. He comes as a messenger sent by the Circle of 24 to do the impossible. What is the impossible? To resurrect the dead into life. As Yaqub, from the beginning, told his uncle that he was going to make a people, that would what? Rule over the original people. And as he did it in the negative and told his uncle, I know that which you know not. Master Farad Muhammad is born with a predetermined idea that he is now going to raise the dead to life. And he will make them the rulers of the earth. He already is set, and he even tells the 24 scientists, I know what you know not. I shall raise the dead to life. The prophets only saw 144,000 coming up out of America. But the messenger of the God says that I will defeat the old prophet's predictions because I know what you know not. Why? Oh, man. In the book of Revelation, the lamb that looked as though it was slain by the beast, slain from the foundations of the earth, he comes up and they ask, who is worthy to take the book from the right hand of God that sit at the throne? The scientists that were sitting with the God were not even worthy of taking the book. And they fell on their faces when the Lamb stood before the 24. And he didn't stand asking them for the book. He didn't even ask God that sat in the throne. He went to the right hand of he that sits at the throne and took the book from his hand. And the 24 elders fell down on their faces. Why? Because they had doubt that God that sat in the throne had the power to resurrect he that was slain from the foundations of the earth. So they were not worthy of looking into the book of God. Y'all, you understand? That lamb represents Jesus, the first begotten of the dead. And God, Allah says in the Quran, I am the giver of life. Only Allah gives life and causes death. Only God has the power to resurrect that which is considered dead and bring it into life. So, in the lessons again, we're asked, as it's saying, that our people found out. When did our people find out that we were here? Approximately 60 years ago. Master Farad Muhammad comes as a messenger, fulfilling the scriptures of Abraham first. After we would serve and be afflicted for 400 years, after that time, I will come. And I will judge that nation which they shall serve. God does not come with the 24 scientists. He gives in our lessons again, my name is Master Farad Muhammad. I came to North America by myself. My uncle was brought over here by the trader 369 years ago. My uncle does not know that he is my uncle. You are the uncle of God. He is our nephew because our brother, who was the father, or could be still alive, of Master Farad Muhammad, sends his son, which makes him our nephew. Oh, it's beautiful. Master Farad Muhammad comes by himself because the 24 did not believe that he could raise us. They had already scratched us out. I'm talking about our own people. You look to Africa. Africa hasn't sent you nobody to save you or to bring you back to Africa. Has one come from either Ghana or Nigeria or Sudan or from Egypt or from any of those African countries? They haven't sent us anybody to help us. Because they said, when they look at your and my condition, they said there is no hope. The dry bones in the valley are cut off. And they are saying, we are without hope. All is lost. But God says, I will take that which is lost. I will take that which is dead. I will bring it to life, and I will prove to the world by taking nothing and making it something, by taking the bottom rail and making it the top rail. I will prove to the world that I am God. I always have been, always will be, because I know how to give life to the dead. Now, y'all all right? I'm so full. Look, I'm going to wrap this up. Oh, man, this is powerful. Master Farad Muhammad works for 3.5 years. And he raises up a messenger. Behold, I will send you Elijah. What will be the work of Elijah? Elijah will prepare the way for God. How will Elijah prepare the way for God? Because Elijah was prepared by God. I will send my messenger before me. How will they know unless they have a teacher? And how will they have a teacher unless he be sent? The book of Malachi closes the Old Testament. And Elijah is sent to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children and the children's hearts to the fathers, lest the Lord come and smite the earth with a curse. Elijah was named in the womb. My grandmother didn't know who the boy was. She only felt that this boy should be named Elijah. Elijah was raised up in the church. My father, my grandfather, a Baptist minister. But in the heart of little Elijah, listening to the preacher, he was always listening and looking for something that would resurrect his people. He wasn't a Muslim, he was a Christian. And when he found Master Farad Muhammad, he knew that it was he whom the book was talking about. So he didn't hesitate. When he came down the aisle, like many of you have come down this aisle, and many of you this afternoon will come down this aisle to accept that teaching that gives life, he whispered into the ear of Master Farad Muhammad and said, I know who you are. Master Farad Muhammad said, shh, We will talk about this after the meeting. But once his identity was recognized, then he began quickly to nurture and to fill that vessel that recognized him for who he was. And after 3.5 years, my father, day and night, learned this valuable knowledge and presented to the black man and woman of America Islam as their salvation, and introduced to you a flag representing the sun, moon, and star, representing independence, freedom, justice, and equality, and said, you are no longer slaves for the white man. You will no longer belong to the white man. You will now belong to God. How did God get that claim on you? He paid the price. He endured great suffering and persecution for 3.5 years. He was in the jail in Detroit, in the jail right here in Chicago, showing the way for Elijah. Oh, man. In 1933, Master Farad Muhammad departs. By 1934, Elijah Muhammad had already begun the mission of resurrecting you and I. In the same year that he leaves, there in the womb of another black mother, was being birthed. Fashioning in the womb was another Savior that would serve Master Farad Muhammad's ultimate goal, and that was the resurrection of you and me. So in May 11, 1933, Sister Samaya Farrakhan gives birth to Louis Farrakhan for you and I. How long ago? How long ago? Approximately 60 years ago. Brother Farrakhan, we celebrated his 60th birthday. What does it mean to you? What does it mean for us? Brother Farrakhan says, as the book says, 6 days you shall work, and on the 7th you shall rest. What is going on today? As I bring this to a close, in the same problem book, as they decided to send a messenger, look at the accomplishments of Master Farad Muhammad in these words. Now the messenger and his laborers worked day and night for the last 3.5 years, and their accomplishment is approximately 25,000. The messenger and his laborers are worried, for the time of laboring is mentioned and limited in said problem number 31. Problem number 31 is talking about a lion in a cage that walks back and forth 60 feet per minute, seeking a way out of the cage. It took him nearly 4 centuries to find the door. Now, with modern equipment, he is walking 3,000 feet per minute and has to cover and has 3,000 miles by 2,000 miles to go yet. Why 60 feet per minute? A lion in a cage. You are the king, yet you are locked up. You have been hit in the head like Hiram and buried in the north corner of the western world. Solomon sent his magicians. He sent everybody who could resurrect Hiram, for Hiram in his head had the blueprint of Solomon's temple. But Solomon had to come himself. And what did he use to resurrect Hiram from his grave? He used the lion's paw. And Hiram stood up from his grave. What does it mean? A lion in the cage. You are encaged by 3,000 by 2,000 miles. And you have been trying for 4 centuries now to find a way out. 60 years ago. Now, with modern equipment, he can move much faster. Who is that? One lion found the door. He got out the cage. One lion is already free, exercising his natural right over every creature in the jungle because he knows he's God. He no longer is in prison. There are no bars keeping him from expressing his freedom. So he walks and nobody owns him. He talks like a free man because he is not bound by a cage. That a cage master and a man is holding the key. The slave master holds the key to your cage, and you're walking back and forth trying to find a way. But one lion was released, and no little pussycat can come up here talking from this rostrum to help you and to free you from the chains of ignorance. Your leadership is coward leadership. They scratch where they don't itch. They bend and bow because they fear white folks. They fear the slave master. But because of Master Farad Muhammad's coming, and our allegiance to him, who is unseen yet seen, who has power over the heavens and the earth. Farrakhan walks as a free lion. He doesn't scratch where he doesn't itch. He doesn't bend or bow or shake under the pressure of white folks and the pressure of this wicked government that seeks to control him, so that he can further control you, so that he can continue to use you as a tool and also a slave. A slave is one whose power and authority is ruled over by another, and whose freedom and liberation is limited according to the wishes of his master. Your liberation and freedom is limited according to the wishes of the United States government. And if they wish you to be free and you are under his control and authority, that's when you'll find freedom, and you'll never find it. Never will you find liberation depending on white folks to give you liberation. You've been trying to sleep with white folks too long. Lazarus, get up from the table of the rich man. That's all that white folks have given you for 438 years was the crumbs. They continue to use you as tools and also a slave. Michael Jordan can earn 10 million, 15 million a year, but what is the master earning? He'll give Barkley a few crumbs and make you look like, wow, he's getting good money. He's only giving you the remains, the crumbs. He's already eaten his meal. I got a little left. And here, next to me, is a dependent slave. What do you want? Down, boy. Hey. This is how we've been with white folks. Begging at the gate of the rich man. And Lazarus had to have the intervention of the angels in order for him to be separated from the rich man. And God began to put his hand on the riches of the rich man, and until the rich man was broke, and Lazarus didn't have a table to go to, then Lazarus began to rise up from his stooped down condition, begging, like we today, begging what we can do for ourselves. Now, look, y'all all right? I'm going to close this. If you look at 60 again, this 60th celebration, when we said it from the beginning, it is not a mere man playing an instrument. And you think Farrakhan's now going to undo in music what words have done. Here you are. Farrakhan, what's the matter? He's abandoning the principles. Is Farrakhan seeking integration? Hell no. Is Farrakhan bending? Please. But what is Farrakhan doing? The lion is in the cage, 60 feet per minute. He has a door by which to lead all of us out of. Listen to me carefully, because you have to be strong today as the guide and the messenger make move for your salvation, and because of your ignorance, you don't understand, so you will seek to condemn and rebuke without knowledge. And white folks will deceitfully play the words in the newspaper and on the television to make it seem like your champion defender for the oppressed is all of a sudden now bowing, seeking dialogue. We didn't start the war. What makes you think you're going to finish it? Who starts the war must end the war. Farrakhan never said Judaism was a gutter religion. They said it. So he has nothing to apologize for. He said it 8 years ago. He said it 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and today the same thing. If you will sit down, I'll be more than willing to talk to you. But you don't understand the string, the music, because David had a slingshot. The slingshot was a weapon. Who could defeat Goliath, the giant, when everybody was looking and said, David hit up a slingshot? And the man lost his mind. This is a big giant with a big sword in his hand. Little David picks up a slingshot and puts a stone in it, right? But did he knock Goliath down? The slingshot, a string, The violin is a weapon with a bow, To undo words? No. It's to show them that he could never have said those things. If music originates from a heart that is full of compassion for the human family, so that is to show them he can't play Mendelssohn in the way that they say that he has expressed hatred of the Jews. How can he play a violin and touch the souls of white, black, red, yellow, affect the souls of Christian, Jew, Muslim, Baptist? How can he do that if there's hatred in the heart? You can't play music and touch the heart of people with hatred at the root, can you? And affect them? You can't get people to cry and get all emotionally aroused from the playing of an instrument if hatred is in the heart. Jews started the war, and they said and turned his words around, that he said that Hitler was a great man and Judaism was a gutter religion. They did that. And ever since then, they have not allowed Farrakhan, or have not even put in the news that this was wrong. They did it to divide us. You think, excuse me, Farrakhan, what is he working for? He's working to open up the doors to our, praise the word, to our people that are so at the footstep of white folks. We have millionaires, doctors, professionals. All of the leadership that we need are tied into white folks. They do the bidding of their master, and the Jews control them. And all of these scared handkerchief Negroes. Farrakhan is being triumphant today. They will soon say, Farrakhan, the reason why we didn't come with you before is because we were afraid. Scared to death. Negro leadership is why you and I have only advanced an inch when we could have advanced feet and miles by now. But because they're too afraid to stand on righteous principles and not compromise those principles for nothing, that is what distinguishes Farrakhan from the rest of the pack. Farrakhan will not compromise principles. He will not alter, change, or put in the truth, falsehood, to appease who? Nobody. Don't you be fooled by this. If it's 60 feet per minute, the lion, then if you add this 60 and this 3,000 by 2,000 miles that is yet to go, at the 400 year of our sojourn here in America, would be 1555 to 1955 is what? 400 years. The message of Islam in its beginning traveled slow, yet it moved. Modern equipment represents modern technology. Now, the 3,000 by 2,000 miles, which is America, the word of Farrakhan is all over America. Everywhere, black folks are being touched by Farrakhan. The enemy wants to disconnect Farrakhan with you. And what better way could he do that than to make you think that Farrakhan now wants to go to bed with them? That'll mess you up. Farrakhan fiddling. Farrakhan saying he's going to undo with words, with his music. And then the enemy comes in. The hypocrites move in. You see? I told you he was out for himself from the beginning. He always wanted to talk to white folks. This year, marking his 60th birthday, with modern equipment, he offers a solution to America's problems and their dilemmas.